This Way to the World. I'm live on set right now with Bigger Picture Productions for my video Shooting My Shot featuring Crooked I.
I shoot my shot. I shoot my shot. I shoot my shot.
Way to the World, iWill, 7grow7, Bigger Picture Productions Media. You already know what it is. Like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share this so that we can spread the vibes. We're just chopping it up, artists collabing, talking about the process and everything. How much do you think an artist probably pays, honestly, to invest in themselves?
You know, there's definitely multi-layers to that as far as like if they're being their own engineer, if they're going to other studios, that's kind of an extra layer.
Do they have their own studio?
Right, or they have their own studio. If you're just an artist and you're outsourcing everything, I mean, you're gonna spend at least 5 to 10 grand to get started.
Right.
You know, just to get started, get in the studio, get the studio time, get the project done, all the graphics, videos, that list goes on.
It goes on. It's
and on.
Image,
The whole thing.
We're talking about an artist that's actually that just gets you in the game as an artist, right? We're talking about somebody that's business minded as an artist. That's pushing, right? So we probably take about, out of 100% of the artists, maybe 30% drop off at that. So now you're dealing with about 70% of musicians.
Humans in general.
Yeah.
Most people are either right brain or left brain.
Right.
So there's definitely a small percentage where the hemispheres are
bridged.
And then like you're saying, you got that 30% of artists that you got your Jay-Z's and Puffs and all those guys, anyone, not even just them, but you know, anyone else that comes in and is able to comprehend the business side of it and step out of the artist zone a second and be like, okay, I can make music for years and years and years. That's the easy part as an artist. I need to figure out how to get this out and heard.
Yeah, that's what it's about, right? So you see an artist going to the jewelry store to get jewelry, that's gonna cost. You see, this is image, right? Then you see him get the chain and the clothes, this is image. Money for the image. Then you got how you're gonna get the word out. PR, right? Yeah, PR manager. Now you got these. You got to pay these guys, right? Yeah. Okay. Now I got to shoot a video and get it on YouTube, but I can't just shoot the video and put it on YouTube and expect some magic to happen. No. I'm gonna have to market this thing with it. Take advantage of the in-platform promotions to increase visibility. AdWords, now we're probably already at 70K, 60K. If you're gonna any self-respecting person that's gonna seriously push as an artist. Studio equipment, image consulting, these type of things. There's a whole group of people who are moving like this in the space. SoundCloud, these type of things, putting your music up, that's not that expensive. No. But to maintain it and to grow it, that's where.
To grow, and then you, on top of that, you start moving website development, back end stuff. If you have somebody that's going to start running your analytics, or merch. On top of that,
ticket sales, independent shows,
or buying onto tours if you're not.
How much could that cost?
Oh man, I've seen weird numbers. But for me, like if I'm gonna buy onto something, it has to be worthwhile for me to like. I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna get to sell my merch. Yeah. You know, I'm gonna get to shake hands. And, and hopefully make a return back.
Like, what are some of those ridiculous numbers you've seen?
I've seen in Texas, man. I've heard 5K for not even tours, for shows. Like
just to perform at a show.
If like Young Dolph. For somebody comes,
you pay $5 grand.
I've heard those types of numbers. I've seen people pay it.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, I've seen people pay it.
That's fascinating. Asher, you already know why. I'm about to shoot my shot right now too. So just because that's fascinating because you as an artist, you're paying $5,000 to put your music on display for an artist that's coming who's hot.
I mean that type of numbers. Obviously a larger artist.
No, but I've heard 20,000.
Okay, yeah.
I've heard like in California for like some of these festivals or something.
Yeah, festivals. I'm sure you're going on.
Yeah, if you don't have the numbers and stuff like that, and you got a plug that knows a guy that knows a guy that
knows
a plug. Oh my God, you're talking about 50K. You're gonna be on the show, especially if Daddy's got it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of trust fund babies in the rap game. Let's keep it real. It's a lot of suburban money coming in, pushing a lot of stuff. So again, this conversation is to highlight the economics and what it might take to become a rapper or a musician and why you would do that. Well, we went over the numbers. The purpose is to increase visibility so that you might sell merch, so that you might get your streams up.
To be seen by a larger general audience that hopefully resonates with your music. And then,
Cast a wide net.
yeah, and cast a wide net. And at the same time, that can even fail too if it's not the right show for your music. You know what I'm saying? If it's
There's
not
none
the
of this is within. None of this is a promise.
yeah, none of it's a promise exactly.
But if you get on that radio,
Yeah.
things turn different.
Yeah,
People start hearing you and they go, wait a minute, there's some social proof here.
I'll go as far as to say, and you can fight me on it. In DFW, if you don't break if you're not on the radio. Period. So fight me on it, call me out on it, whatever.
No,
if you don't get on the radio,
We're not
and-
gonna fight
and
you
D-
here.
and
We don't want the
DFW,
smoke. We don't want the smoke unless it's
and on
we'll talk later.
DFW, man. I mean, unless you're on the radio, nobody's
What's DFW?
Dallas Fort Worth, Texas.
DFW.
For y'all that don't know, Dallas
Shout
Fort
out.
Worth, Texas. Shout out DFW. You know.
That's what we do.
I've seen it time and again. There could be a guy. I mean, even Post Malone was in that area for a minute.
Trust fund, baby, that made good. I mean,
that made good. But
How
guess
much
who
money
came
do you-
back on the radio?
right.
Once
How
he
much do
came
you
back
think
on
he
the
made?
radio, oh, who knows what?
How much did they put into Post Malone? Do
At
you see
least
what-
100K. I'll
Right.
say that.
Now, so if an artist
I
could
think
go
that's a low estimate.
That's a low
That's a
estimate.
super low
way
estimate.
low
I think
estimate.
I was saying I'm a baby number that and just say at least
Conservative estimates
conservative,
work here. Yeah, they work.
conservative estimate.
We'll
We're gonna
take it.
say
We'll work with it.
You know, he's all, but the thing is, I had never. He was not from there, but he's been in that area for a while. I never heard of this dude.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Not just me. A lot of people in that area never heard
This
of
is
him.
respectfully too. This
Yeah,
is not. No, this is all love. All love.
I fuck
all
with
love.
Post. I fuck with Post Malone.
Right.
And out of nowhere, he's all over the radio. All over the
We've seen
radio.
this before.
White Iverson came out.
Yeah.
Slam DFW radio. All over it. No. All of a sudden, Post Malone's from.
He's
From
clicking
this,
off.
Yeah,
he's
from this,
clicking
he's
off.
from this area,
Yeah.
and the same thing, and that's respectfully with a lot of artists. I mean, even recently, there's guys like Yellow Beezy that are huge, and
Yeah, I love
you know,
Yellow
yeah,
Beezy.
he's all over the radio too, and to me as an outside person looking in,
Mm-hmm.
or from a fan perspective, it's just like once they hit the radio,
That impact.
that impact.
It's like the world goes, oh, you're already on the radio?
That's it.
You made it. And that's what radio essentially does.
It does.
And so in the forefront, what Agua is going to be doing is allowing artists to book their own radio airplay, because what's going to happen is these musicians who are investing this money, just doing this off of the love, investing hard-earned money from their friends and their family with no degree of
Right.
that impact. We at Agua, we're going to say, hey, not only are you guys going to be able to get your music heard on the air through these ads and things like that, the DJs and tastemakers are going to be looking at these ad spaces to see what's performing what.
Right.
And then that's what's going to be dictating what gets paid into rotation.
Right.
And that's based on what they would call a meritocracy. It's the merit of your music that's moving.
Right, and that's
as opposed
definitely a
from
lack- there's a
favor-
lack of
it's-
that.
I mean, this
Yeah.
whole hip hop, this whole
Yeah.
music industry, ever since,
Yeah.
you know, payola became illegal, even been going back before, it's been a favor for a favor. You
Yeah,
know that,
definitely.
I know that,
Yeah.
Asher knows that. It's a favor for a favor.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? But if you put your music up, you put your money where your mouth is, and your music starts performing. In other words, people start interacting
With it,
Oh,
right.
we like this, we like that. You know, we bookmark that. I want to know more about this guy. You're
Right.
going to be able to see that from your dashboard
Right.
and go, oh my God, in Fresno, California, I'm hitting the most.
Yeah.
I know now I could come
I
do
could
a
go to
show,
a show in Fresno,
and, you know,
right.
that type of, it's just not available to artists.
And even just the ability to put your music directly in somebody's cockpit. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
another
Like,
vibe.
that's a whole
That's a whole
different.
nother vibe.
I mean, you can do that now. I mean, it's spot,
You
but
can.
from an ad perspective, where it's going to pop into the stream
Mm-hmm.
of what they're already engaged with while they're driving around. Because personally, I still listen to the most music in my car. You know what
Most
I'm saying?
people
And
do.
I think most people might
Yeah,
too.
we have
because,
the research.
you know, we always are moving around, we're driving, we're going place to place. From work, you're not really listening to music, probably most people a whole lot, you know, get in your car.
Hmm.
And just to be able to say, hey, screw the $5,000 on a show, I'm gonna put $5,000 into these marketing streams.
And I'm gonna know immediately
And I'm
if
gonna
it's
know
working.
immediately if it's working.
Yeah.
And on top of that, with the ability for that person to just say, buy, or whatever, as soon as they hear it.
Loving it.
Purchase.
Who sings this?
Yeah, right. And boom, right there.
Oh,
They-
glad
they
you
open it.
asked.
They don't have to get a phone out.
Right.
They don't.
It's less cumbersome.
The easier it is for the person to go to A to B, that's just the world we live in now.
That convenience.
Convenience is everything. I mean, where you get your gas is convenience. Where you get your herb is convenience.
Right. No, and in this one, it's not necessarily convenient for something that you might want to indulge in, but it's music is such an integral part of our lives, and it's so infused into who we are as people. It's very rare to hear somebody say, "Oh, I don't like music." It's very rare. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And with the variety of people doing music right now, we deserve more than 15 songs being played an hour.
I agree. I mean, and it's almost like guys are getting snubbed.
Absolutely.
Because I'm an audio engineer in Dallas Fort Worth.
Oh,
so
okay.
I work with a lot of local artists, other
Okay.
local artists. I produce, I engineer, I do a lot, and there's so many good artists in our area.
The weight of the world. Check for
Yeah.
them. Subscribe.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. You see that, man? It's a Swiss Army knife right there. But go ahead.
There's so many good artists. I perform with them. I work with them. I'm in the mud with them. You know what I'm saying? And I know what it feels like to not know what the hell to do with your music. When you know it's good enough that, no, the whole world might not like it, but there's a group of people that will like it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My niche is there somewhere. And there's a lot of artists in DFW that they're really good, and they don't fall into the club category. They don't fall into the bangers all the time and consistent, just that type of music. And when you don't fall into that, and your, whatever your hometown was getting pushed in your hometown, it's hard for artists to figure out. And on top of that, there's not outlets like there might be in California and New York, Atlanta, maybe. There's no record label for me to go to. There's no A&R in the crowd. There's no.
My cousin doesn't. My uncle wasn't a record executive for Berry Gordy. I don't know. Right. My cousin. My uncle's not in the Temptations. A lot of people in the industry right now. So many of them. I'm talking about 80% of the artists that are on. Family connections, friends, hooks up for family. And it hurts my heart to know that so many of us started off with a pen and a paper thinking that we could make it. Yeah. When you realize that 8 out of 10 people are related to the people in the industry, all of a sudden your chance to make it with everybody else playing this game has dwindled to a measly 20%. Suddenly it's very crowded.
Yeah, I call it the early artists being green mentality. We all come in like, oh man, I'm gonna drop the hottest music that anyone's
Drake
ever heard.
did it. Drake did it as a common thing that I hear when I talk to artists who I mentor.
Yeah, but Drake got picked up on some big money men.
Well, this is all respectful, of course, but you didn't start off before you ever dropped a single on MTV.
No,
it makes a great deal of a difference. Every artist doesn't have that to be able to say that, like, oh, I started off on Degrassi, you never even heard me karaoke before, right? But yet you've seen my face, you've heard my imprint. I even got shot on this show. You have an emotional connection, and now you're like, here's my single. Is that the dude from Degrassi with a banger? Yeah. It's a banger too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you're not established,
that's not repeatable.
Like that. Yeah.
That's not a scientific method for success, because for science and for it to be duplicatable or being able to do it again and again. It has to be provable. You have to be able to put it to the test and get results. Every rap artist can't do that. Every musician can't do that because of that 80% that is just friends, family, and then that 20% you gotta hustle. That's where they say you sold your soul or what, all that type of weird stuff comes into play. But now, no, you don't have to do that. Now we're gonna streamline the process of getting you ears, listenership, and not only that, you're getting direct information on who's listening, liking, and streaming and purchasing. You can and then we're not saying, hey, you got to pay us because we got that. No, we're saying you just created your own little movable market. You created keep hitting it. You got the information on them. Keep growing that. You see, and that's the blessing of Agua utility.
And that kind of backdoors into this kind of newer age that we're pushing into as independent artists or more in control of their careers.
This might be the cherry on. Might be the cherry on top,
right? Yeah. Versus having to need that label support. And as the internet took over and all this technology has come in, it's this huge shift in this huge dynamic where the artist can start playing these multiple roles. Not only are you the artist, you're also your own marketer. You're also your own advertiser. You're also your own back-end tech. You're also you're
saving money too.
Yeah, and
by doing these things.
By learning, or at least it's making the artist, it's forcing the artist, if you want to succeed, to at least learn what these roles are about.
so that you can even have that better communication.
So you can have that better communication with the guys you end up finding that are able. That's their forte. You know, and now you can hand it over like, hey, this is what I've done. This is the groundwork I've done. I need you to take this and consolidate it and help me, you know, move it in a different direction.
That's very powerful.
And that's something I think we're moving into. That's, you know, these artists are wearing so many hats now. And the more we go, the more it's going to be like that too. It's just, you know, the artist is the producer, he's an engineer too, he's in marketing, is his own stuff, he's his own manager, he books his own shows.
So it's getting to the point where he's going to be able to use AI and smart languaging and smart programming to develop his own algorithms to handle all of this for him.
That's a cool idea.
You know, that's where.
Who's your team? You pull them out on your phone.
Well, you know, I got a bot that handles my marketing. I have a bot that handles
Jessica.
my. You know, you have a Rolodex of bots that handle these things. Right? But that's just where it's going. You can deploy your own workforce virtually, and you don't even need human capital, and that reduces corruption. Your accounting person screwing you out of untold millions, which is a common occurrence with musicians.
Musicians.
And these are the things, you know, these are problems that, you know, that need to be resolved going forward. But now we say, look at, hey, record label, I get to have a little bit more say so. Now as an artist, I get to say, label, my well-being and happiness is not dependent on you. I'm fine if I can keep reinvesting in myself. But what your money and your influence does now, record label, is I'm advertising, I'm getting hot on my own, generating revenue on my own. In a
Once
small
the revenue
market,
is generated.
Right, then they go, well, if you could afford $10 million in your campaign across the nation, take you from this little city to maybe semi-national, you know, half the country, see how you do. If those numbers hold up, you can tell the label then, thank you, I got it from here, I appreciate it, you take your cut, I take my cut. Or you can grow it yourself. It just gives you more options.
And they can be jumping points too. You know, so they can be jump off points. I've seen, I mean, Wiz was with, Universal first? Or Wiz was with Atlantic or something first when he first came out. And I don't know if that really went well or not. But at the end of the day, he was able to take that as a jump point and, you know, kind of help establish himself more. So like you just said, y'all go ahead and go y'all's way, and I'll go my way.
And these labels ain't got no problem with that. They're not acting like overprotective parents anymore. They're like, yo, if we can get rid of you after we made your money, great. We don't need
it's a revolving door. You know, there's always another 18-year-old to go swipe up somewhere.
But it also turns that ad space into almost like artist development. Because now I can experiment with rock songs on rock stations. If I want a little Nas X country song, I can break this on that station. I could create a commercial and an ad, you know, targeting them.
And we could talk. Let's talk about that even real quick. Prior to, we'll say, the last 15 years or so, there was a thing called artist development.
There was, you guys know, a lot of people might not know artist development.
There was a thing called artist development.
Used to get money and never come out. Just to record.
To develop yourself so that they, you know, by the time you get to a point, you know, you're ready. That's not there so much anymore. They want to come in and like you were saying, they want you to be developed.
They want you to be developed.
They want your revenue already there. They want your numbers already there. They want you to already be performing. They want you to be polished. Your image already there. They want the brand.
Right.
Basically,
social capital counts as revenue too. So when he's saying revenue, like followers and that stuff means the world to these labels because they go, well, I can extrapolate. Okay, if this guy's got 300,000 followers, I can go ahead and put some gasoline on this, which is currency, spread the word, and hopefully he'll do well. Trouble with that is you can game the system, but yeah.
Who's the guy with Interscope that's with Dre? Iveen. So I watched a thing on Iveen not that long ago, and Jimmy, and when he found Gwen Stefani, and it was funny because in the clip he was like, I told her, when I found her, y'all keep writing, y'all keep recording. We're going to record. 6 years from now, you're going to be a star. That's artist development.
That's artist development.
You know, he found this group, whenever with No Doubt still, and was like, hey, you know, y'all aren't quite there yet, but I see it. Let me take y'all over the next couple years and develop this. And sure enough, bam, she's one of the biggest singers in the world.
Right. No, you picked a great example right there because
that don't happen no more though.
No, it doesn't. But it calls back. There's a callback there to our earlier point in the conversation where we were talking about you were talking about Gwen Stefani and then artist development. Back when when she was being developed, you're right. Jimmy Iovine could come in and say, "You guys, keep doing what you're doing. It's working." But what's very interesting about that is how they leverage the impact of that album, the social proof. Right. Because what happened, if you remember, the No Doubt album was called Tragic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Because they're a Southern California group,
Had a
and
lot
then
of
that's a
hits on
play
it, too.
on Magic Kingdom, which is Disneyland.
Right.
So the rest of the world might not have knew that, but when LA seen a LA band come out and call it the Tragic Kingdom,
Right.
they instantly, and it was ska music,
Yeah,
sort
it
of
was-
like
yeah.
in the vein of,
It was in the middle of the 90s,
what was it?
Sublime,
Sublime,
and-
right
yeah,
on the
and-
tail end
and-
of Sublime.
yeah,
So you
all
go,
that.
wait a minute, uh-oh.
And the chick, she got the
And then
chick,
she's got that,
you know?
yeah, she's got the black drummer,
Yeah.
and then she's got, and they have a romance.
With the
There's-
bass player
that's going to
or
get
the
your user
drummer, one- yeah,
engagement.
right.
It's a Southern California romance story. It's hectic, and then all of a sudden, Gwen is she's the energy of that. And Tragic Kingdom, it's like everybody in LA knew. You get everybody in LA on the same page, the rest of the world's going to follow. Much like Houston radio.
That
Much
is
like
true.
Houston radio.
If it's popping on the West Coast.
Especially like Snoop. Snoop, that was a beautiful thing what happened with Snoop Dogg's career, because the Chronic was a platform for us to get introduced to Snoop. We didn't know Snoop before that.
Almost the West Coast
but we
music
knew
as a whole,
right.
across the nation.
But when when Snoop dropped the Chronic, let's call it the platform,
Right.
right? and Snoop introduced himself on the platform. How many copies did that Chronic sell? 9 million, 10 million copies? Instantly knew who Snoop Dogg was.
Y'all stay tuned, all right? Salute.
Shoot my shot.